What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'll be taking you guys through what I love and what I hate about my Mazda Axela 2.2 liter diesel. Don't get me wrong, every good relationship has that mix of love and hate. So while I do love this car, there's some things that just annoy me. So let me take you guys through everything. And if you own this car, please just comment down below at the end, and if you're thinking of buying it, also comment what your thoughts are. But let's get into it. So the first thing that I'd like to touch on is what I love. And number one, I love the torque and performance of this car. It's quite fast and it's nimble also. If you need to accelerate in a pinch, it can really get you out of trouble in most situations. Sometimes if the gear is not the right one, it might struggle, but once it picks this thing, it just packs a punch, and I really love that torque and performance that it's given me. I did have a Golf, not the GTI, just a normal Golf 1.4 liter engine before, and that one was also exciting, but you can't compare to this one. And also, unfortunately, you can't compare this to a GTI unless perhaps I do a stage one, which I'm considering. But for what you pay for this car and what it gives you in terms of that performance, it's no joke. So that's quite good. Number two, the fuel efficiency. When I got the engine, it was a 2.2 liter engine, and I was scared. I was like, 2.2 liter diesel. But to be honest, in terms of fueling, in terms of economy, it's been great. Right before I got this car, I had a VW Tiguan, and I can't compare what I was spending in terms of fuel on that Tiguan and what I'm spending on this car. This car is much more economical, and the good thing about it is it's a mix of economy as well as excitement. So even if I put down that pedal, I'm not worried that my gauge is literally moving. I'm telling you, in that Tiguan, it was an old Tiguan, to be fair, but on that Tiguan, the gauge was, that fuel gauge used to literally move as you accelerate. But for this one, I've done like 100 kilometers in a day, and that hasn't used up much fuel. I'm getting between 14 to 18 kilometers to the liter, depending on just how excited I am. But one thing I noticed is you have to be wary of the oil that you use. Previously, I had used 15W40 oil, which made the fuel economy be horrible. It was horrible, I won't lie, because sometimes we're getting 10 kilometers per liter. But after I did service, and you can see that video on the channel where I just take you guys through the whole service process. Now it's much better. I switched now to 5W40, and in terms of efficiency, there is a night and day difference. So the oil that you put in this Axela really matters. Okay, the third thing that I love about this car is its interior and comfort. This one came with the leather seats option. The driver seat has the electronic adjustment, and overall I'd say the interior does look good. But one thing I have to complain about is the lack of ambient lighting. Aside from that lack of ambient lighting, which just sucks, the rest of the interior is quite good. The materials are high quality, and yeah, it's just comfortable inside, as long as you're not carrying many people. If you're carrying a lot of people, you might suffer. The sound system wasn't the best, to be honest. I did have to install an under-seat subwoofer, which we will review in another video. But other than that, the interior is quite comfortable. This one also came with a sunroof, which just adds to the cool factor, and it's also practical in terms of just making the cabin look spacious and just have plenty of light. So the interior and the comfort, it's good. The fourth thing is the handling and the steering. This thing is quite nimble, to be honest. I've taken corners at some crazy speeds, and no body roll, and this car, it's exciting. It's honestly an exciting car. So this goes hand in hand with the performance as well as the torque, but the handling and the steering, I can't complain. while I do wish the steering wheel was, that one that has that flat side, like for the Golf. It's okay, and yeah, that part I really do like. It's been wonderful so far. The fifth thing is looks. Let's not lie to each other. This is a lovely looking vehicle. That Kodo design language from Mazda, it's sleek, aggressive, sporty, and yeah, it just looks awesome. Considering it's a late 2016 model, which shares more or less the same functionality and features with the 2017 one. It's quite awesome and it's aging very well. So in terms of looks, this is a 10 out of 10. I was thinking of putting in the body kit. I might do that later, but for now, even as is, the car looks quite good and I'm really enjoying it. So we're done with the advantages or the things that I like. It's time for me now to complain. Things that I really don't like. So number one is the pillar next to the driver inside. That pillar is quite big, and initially getting used to the car was quite a hassle because I had to adjust myself just to try and just have visibility, and the car is also long. So I'd say there is a bit of a steep learning curve getting used to the car because of its length, and then its pillars are a bit big compared to other cars that I've driven. But depending on your car history, it might not be an issue for you, but it was an issue for me, and I really didn't like that. So that's one thing I don't like. Number two, the DPF issue. I've only done one engine adjustment to this car, changing the plastic junction pipe, but always at the back of my mind, I'm worried about the DPF. Thankfully, I do very long trips. Like on a day, it's typically 60 kilometers to and fro work, but I do get caught up in jam sometimes, and it's just something that is always at the back of my mind, just given that it's happened to so many people. So what I'm doing is I do highway drives where I'm going between 90 and 100 kilometers for at least 30 minutes, at least weekly. There's sometimes even I go to ICD, that road there behind, and I really push the car just to clean up that DPF. But it is something that just weighs heavily on me, and so far so good, no issues experienced, but it's something that I'm actively thinking about. The next thing is carbon buildup in the intake manifold. That's also something that I'm wary about, and I know a lot of these disadvantages haven't happened yet, but there are things that I'm worried that might happen, and they have happened to quite a number of Mazda drivers, but so far they haven't happened to me. But there are things that I'm actively thinking about and just hoping that they don't just occur. But so far so good, and if that happens, I know I'll just have to get the intake cleaned or chemically flushed after a while. But for now, so far so good. The next thing I'd say that I don't like about this car is its ground clearance. We discussed this in a previous video where I told you guys that it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. Yesterday I was going over a railway and I just had that bang. I was like, damn. And I thought I was being careful, but with this guy, if you think you're careful, make sure you're extra careful. So it does need a bit of extra care. I'd argue the same for people who have Golfs and mostly any other typical competitor for the Axela. But yeah, it does need a bit of care. I told you guys also that I crashed I damaged the bumper the first day I got the car, just because of how long it is and also how low it is. So this car, it's a bit fragile in terms of you having to be careful how you drive and just take care of it. But it's also enjoyable in the sense that it's not that difficult to repair, and aside from those major issues with the DPF and the likes, just these typical repairs, they're easy. And yeah, it's not like a German car where you have to reset or you have to plug in a computer and all that stuff. For this one, it's much easier to live with. But the low ground clearance isn't the best. The next thing that I really don't like about this car is some of the parts are quite expensive. Case in point, when I wanted to upgrade that body kit, I got a quotation of 65,000 shillings for the whole body kit, like front, side, and back, which I found to be quite expensive. So I'm finding that there are some people who have realized that this car has quite a large demand, so they are cashing in by just hiking prices on some of the things. Even for the front grille, which I wanted to change, I was given a quotation of, I think, 30,000 shillings. So even a simple mod that you'd like to do to the car, guys are giving you those high prices, and I feel that they're taking advantage of how popular this car has been, and also other Mazdas, the 6.5s and the Demus, and they tend to want to cash in on those on the drivers. So the pricing of a lot of these things hasn't been the best, but it's also not the worst. But yeah, it is a hindrance, and sometimes you'll just find yourself having to save up a bit so that you can do those modifications, and that's what I'm currently doing. I'm just saving up so that I can do those modifications. And yeah, I'd say those are the major things that I don't love about this car, but overall it is a wonderful car. So if you own this car, I'd be interested to know what you also love and don't love about your Axela. And if you're thinking of buying it, just drop down your questions down below and I'll be happy to guide you. Otherwise, we've come to the end of the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.